Hello, everyone. My name is Jake Johnson, and I am the editor-in-chief of the Journal of the American Musicological Society. And I'm excited to welcome you to our new JAMS author interview series. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Helmut Reichenbächer, who is an associate professor at OCAD University in Toronto, Canada, to discuss his article, From Dreams to Nightmares, the Nazi Suppression of Mendelssohn's Incidental Music to a Midsummer Night's Dream, which you can find in the spring 2025 issue of the Journal of the American Musicological Society, Volume 78, Issue 1. Welcome, Helmut. Glad to have you here. I'm wondering if we could begin with just you offering a brief summary of the topic of your article and your argument.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So I'm really interested in music programming during times of political oppression. And that's how this article emerged. We're here in Nazi Germany, 1930s, the transition into the Nazi period, and the suppression of Mendelssohn's Midsummer Night's Dream music. So I'm addressing two questions really here. First is, who programmed Mendelssohn's Midsummer Night's Dream last into the Nazi period? In fact, in 1935, so that's 2 years into the dictatorship. A risky move because, quite frankly, because of Mendelssohn's Jewish heritage, his music had been largely suppressed. And so programming Mendelssohn at that time was in fact a career limiting move and possibly came with even existential risk. And so pairing this is with my second question is, who composed music to fill this gap? Who was the first composer to write a new score for performances of Shakespeare's comedy, which was incredibly popular until the Nazis came to power and was almost inevitably performed with Mendelssohn's music? So the question was, is programming the Mendelssohn in a stage performance in 1934 an act of resistance and subversion? And is writing a new score an act of complicity and opportunism within the regime? And as I'm demonstrating in this article, the reality is much more complex. And I have a fair bit of evidence to support that approach.
Yes, these are really enormous questions and such fascinating ones. And this article really leads you down some fabulous ways of thinking, and really kind of harrowing ways of thinking with these topics. Um, so there are many things in my engagement with your article that have fascinated me, and I'm curious to hear maybe what most fascinated you about the article's topic and your area of research.
Yeah, so I came across this historical source which listed performance data, which really intrigued me to see what was really performed during this very difficult time. So I was collecting performance data and I realized that using it with a digital aggregation and digital analysis, that it became this discovery tool. And so as a discovery tool, it sent me off into searching for primary sources. And I was discovering all this material that I had no idea it existed through archival work. So I found letters, I found photographs, I found correspondence with censorship authorities, and even Gestapo surveillance reports. And it helped me, the discovery of these primary sources helped me to extract the personal stories behind these historical political events and looking at the individuals who continue to operate within this system of political pressures.
Yeah, really wonderful, wonderful case studies. Helmut, could you tell us a little bit about how your article extends existing knowledge in musicology or a subfield or maybe other kinds of discussions about music?
Yeah, what I think I'm showing here is the value of multidisciplinary research. And of course, musicology has been doing this for quite a while. And so this work really straddles musicology, theater studies, archival work, and specifically digital humanities. And it's the latter, the digital humanities, that really fascinated me. This opportunity to dynamically analyze a data set of performances and helping me to identify the patterns of repertoire shift that go even beyond the Mendelssohn. So I'm seeing this article as a first step into analyzing the repertoire shift. And it's really about understanding social and political realities through the lives of the individual decision makers.
One last question for you, Helmut. What would you like a student or somebody new to the field of musicology to take away from your article?
Yeah, I think it's encouraging folks to be curious, to dive into archives, to look at materials that is sitting there and may not have been read or discovered. There are so many treasures waiting for us, scores that haven't been seen for decades, and the like. And I think, secondly, to be more cautious about simplistic binary thinking. We're drifting into an increasingly polarized world and sometimes forget how differentiated and complex decision making really is. And decision making within very difficult political contexts um, may well be filled with compromise and shades of gray. And it's easy to judge behavior from a place of relative safety.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Helmut, for taking a little bit of time today to talk about your article. It's an incredibly fascinating piece. I highly encourage everyone to rush out and read it. You can read Helmut Reichenbächer's article along with other really interesting and fabulous essays and reviews in the JAMS Volume 78, Issue 1, which is available through the University of California Press. Helmut, thank you so much, and happy reading to everybody.
Thank you for having me.